Right. Hey guys.
Hi.
You are listening to the voice of Kate from the Music Obsession, and I'm here at Golightly Media talking to the lovely Sleepy Kitty. So hello.
Hi.
Want to introduce yourselves individually?
I'm Paige.
I'm Evan. She sings and plays guitar and plays keys and writes the lyrics. And I play drums and do some vocals sometimes.
Just sometimes.
Just
Not a lot of times.
more and more.
More and more.
Nice. And we're here for CMJ week. You guys excited?
Very excited. Yeah, it's been a whirlwind so far. So been keeping busy and having lots of fun.
Yeah, we got tons of stuff planned. We're here all week, so we try to make the most of it.
Well, before we jump into that, I guess we'll cover the basics. So, like I said, you guys are called Sleepy Kitty. Where did the name come from? Because I love that.
So the name came from the first Sleepy Kitty project was actually just a fun project, a fun kind of sound collage project that my friend Phil and I had started when my friend was visiting from London to Chicago. And Evan, we didn't know how it was going to end, how this piece was going to end. And then Evan came in and he was like, "Oh, this is what you should do." Like we all like started working on this piece together, and we needed a name to bounce down the track to have it in iTunes. So we searched it or whatever. And we decided on Sleepy Kitty because the other thing we were doing with Phil that day was watching adorable cat videos. So we were like, we'll call this band Sleepy Kitty. And then it really wasn't even a band at first, but Evan and I kept making music together.
Watching cute cat
and
videos.
watching cute cat videos.
Of course.
And so it really was like a year later we realized like, oh, I guess we're a band called Sleepy Kitty. So
Yeah. Once the name attached to us, we just started putting it on everything. Because it's a good phrase. It's super useful to us to just have a name for everything that we do. And now when we play shows, a pretty good percentage of the time somebody will show us pictures of their cat, which we love.
Which we support.
That's
Nice.
a highlight of the shows.
So it's just assumed you guys are, cat fans. And everyone's like, oh, let me show you mine.
It'd be such a loss if we weren't cat fans.
yeah, and I kind of forget about that when we host other bands that we play with in town and we let them stay with them. And I always think like, well, surely they know we have a cat because like if somebody's allergic, they're not going to want to stay with Sleepy Kitty. But sometimes I forget that people don't necessarily assume that we're cat people, but we are. It's
Gotcha.
official.
So it's gotten, good response, just the name itself, I'm sure. It's cute, it's different.
Well, I had a bunch of friends.
Mixed reviews, but yeah, we had a bunch of friends at first that were like, "So you're gonna change your name, right?" And I'm like, "No," but then other people are like, "You have the best band name," and actually, we were just nominated in the St. Louis Best of for best band name. So
See, so it's all worth it.
yeah, so it's like there's other people that agree.
It's taken us. We've had to train some people to not think of us as like an acoustic guitar band or something. Like, we have a full drum set and an electric guitar and a giant amp and play rock songs. But the band name, I think, just makes people think. The band name and a blonde lead singer, I think, leads people to think that they can
Be quiet.
book us in the corner of a restaurant or something like that,
Gotcha.
which doesn't. So that's still been the only downside.
Yeah.
But we've just had to show it.
Yeah.
Instead of simply telling it.
Yeah, from what I've heard and seen from pictures, once you guys take the stage, there's nothing sleepy about it, so I'm sure you guys make up for it.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite part about performing? Just being on stage and, seeing the people react, stuff like that?
Oh, I guess, well, really every show is different, but when the crowd is really into it, it makes it really fun. Really just, playing music live is really a fun thing, getting to play with the band you like and with your friends and your partner, and it's just it's a good experience. There's a band we toured with called Smoker, and I always think of them with that kind of question because Steven, the lead singer, he always says like, every time what does he say? Every time you play music in front of people, or on stage, it's a gift and or a blessing. I forget how he phrases it, but every time he says that, I'm like, yes, you're right. And that was such a good message to be thinking of when we were on tour with them. Like, this is a special thing to be able to be on stage and like things are going all right if you're able to play live rock music on stage.
I think my favorite thing lately has been kind of black out when we're playing, or white out more like, and because I'm responsible for talking in a way that I never used to have to be in my other band, and I literally have no idea what I'm going to say. Try and remember things to say, and then I forget all of them. But if I say something that's supposed to be funny and it is, and the people laugh, that's fantastic. That I love that feeling. That's because laugh is the don't fake those. And I always thought the worst job in the world was being a comedian. So if I can just sneak one in and then not be a comedian and not have to lead a comedian's life, then that's great.
Yeah, that's just something cool in everyday life. You make a joke and everyone's like, "Oh, that's good," and you're like,
Oh,
"Yes,
yeah.
I've done it."
Yeah.
Just that moment of like, "All right,
Yeah.
it's like I'm done for the day. I'm just gonna end on a high."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be in bed if you need me. I'm
Yeah.
done here.
So you had mentioned that you guys have toured before.
Mm-hmm.
What's touring like? For a band that's relatively new, right?
I love tour. I think it's great. And whenever people complain about it, I think you don't have to do it. There's really no reason to tour if you don't like touring. I feel like, unless I guess if you've been wildly successful already and your career depends on it, then maybe you have to tour. But for a lot of independent bands, it's like you start doing it because you like doing it. And for me, I just love seeing other cities and getting to find out like, oh, this is this awesome band here in Atlanta, or this is this great place to play in Knoxville, and it's really cool to see how much cool stuff there is in this country and across the world. But we've only done touring in the States. But yeah, I really enjoy it a lot.
I think we both like traveling with a purpose, versus showing up somewhere and being a tourist or trying to stay busy or whatever. I mean, we don't. That's the other thing. We don't really travel unless we're doing it in the band. So we try and make the most of it all. The hardest part, I think, is that especially Paige gets really enthusiastic about things that are in different cities. Especially when we're in New York. There's like last time we wanted to see the James Turrell show at the Guggenheim, and we did, but like we had to bend our will towards like getting uptown. Like we were here 3 days or something, and the whole time we could only find like 45 minutes.
We ran through that exhibit,
but it was cool to be able to pull that off. It's just hard to get in anything other than setting up gear, waiting for sound check. You have that hour where you might grab some food. And then 15 hours of driving.
Yeah. I also, one of the things I like about tour also is that you, especially as a newer band, you're coming in and nobody knows anything about you and they haven't seen you live yet, so you have to really earn it. And I think I get really into that kind of competitive aspect of, like I want to deliver a good show because these people owe me nothing, and so I want them to like this. So.
So you like the competitive aspect? You're not competing against the other acts necessarily, but more like yourself.
Against myself.
Yeah.
Well, and just like giving, I guess, making there be a reason for me being on that stage. Like kind of, there's a lot of bands, and why, these people paid $10 to come out tonight. So, and even if there's 5 people there, or if there's 500 people there, it's like you still have to do a legit show.
Yeah, if you're playing in, if you're playing in Arkansas and you're playing with bands you haven't met and nobody's met us, we've never been to Arkansas, the competitive aspect is like you want to become somebody's band that they're telling their friends about, because we have shows where we went to see some friends and a band called Schwerban was opening the show, and they were so great, and all of a sudden it was like imperative that we tell our friends about them and get them back to town and kind of like make an audience for them in St. Louis and in Chicago. And we want to be that band when we get out too, like just demand attention of somebody so that we don't leave their mind. Or we're not, you know, that's why you go out and personally deliver your songs to people. You know, like, here we play them for you, so that you can really hopefully get inside their brain, you know. And they get to meet us, and we get to meet them. So that is all ends up being competitive without there being a loser, hopefully.
Yeah, exactly.
No loss competition.
Well, you'd think so, you know, in an ideal show, for sure.
We've had shows where they've slipped away too. We're like, we didn't quite get that one.
Yeah.
So, you know, you just figure try and tweak and make it better. But I was never I was never particularly good at sports or at even watching sports because I had too much of a feeling for both sides of the equation, the winner and the loser. So now I like rock isn't about winners and losers. It's just about, you know, do you actually affect somebody's experience or not, which is good. That's where I want to be. I want to be affecting them.
Yes, that mentality I'm sure translates to something like CMJ, where there's just so many artists to, you know, pan through, let alone, you know, someone finding your band specifically, you know?
Yeah.
So seeing people at the shows, you know, having so many other options, like how does that make you feel?
That's CMJ and South by Southwest and things like that are definitely when that urge kicks in the hardest, and you're like you are going to be blasted with bands this week, and tonight, like we're playing a show at the deli, it's like 10 other bands, and we still have our set to make our impression. So it's a good. I like it. This feels way more like game day. Sort
Yeah,
of.
if anything, I feel like that turns it up a little because you have to, especially at a thing like this, if somebody's choosing to be at your show, they're choosing to not be at a different show, and so if you don't want them to see 2 songs and then be like, oh, okay, I'm gonna check out that other set. You want them to see 2 songs and be like, wow, I'm staying here for this whole set. So,
I need that album.
I need that album.
Yeah.
I need to tell all of my friends about Sleepy Kitty.
And not the cute internet Sleepy Kitty, like the band one that, you know.
That's a
I need to
combination.
show Sleepy Kitty my cat, and I need to tell all of my friends about Sleepy Kitty the band.
Very nice.
Yeah.
That is, we did not properly consider the effect of online. We are kind of competing with really cute cats. Like whenever you watch a Sleepy Kitty video on YouTube, it gets to the end and then there's like
Suggested videos.
Suggested
You can't compete with that.
yeah,
2 kittens falling asleep in a basket? No way.
with a puppy.
Yeah.
But that's okay. We can handle it.
Hey, it might just widen the audience, you know?
Yeah.
There you go.
hopefully.
No complaints, no complaints.
Yeah.
So speaking of widening the audience, you guys are just really, you know, looking forward to performing, I'm assuming, at CMJ and everything.
Oh, definitely. Last night was a lot of fun, and I've heard wonderful things about Rockwood Music Hall tonight where we're playing, so I'm very excited about that. And a lot of the other bands that I've heard about, some like great bands too. So.
Yeah, we saw some cool bands last night at Tammany Hall, and there's I'm blanking on who's where, but I know there's some bands I'm really looking forward to seeing tonight. Last night we saw the ACBs, who are from Kansas City, which is practically neighbors with St. Louis, but we hadn't seen them yet, so that was really cool. They were great. They were great. So that kind of thing will be keeping us plenty busy. In addition to seeing all the there's just a million showcases of bands that we really don't want to miss if possible.
Yeah, that's what's so tough about something like this, especially just negotiating the schedule, and then also you guys are actually performing too, so it's like both ends of it.
And dealing with the van.
Yeah, parking and
loading
reparking
gear,
the van.
dealing with the van. The big secret about tour. If you don't like loading gear, you're not gonna like it.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, parking the van.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you have your showcase tonight and everything, but what are you guys looking to do after CMJ is over, once the chaos has come to a close?
Once the chaos comes to a close, we are heading we're heading west to Chicago, and we're going to play at the Burlington in Chicago with our friends White Gold. So I'm really excited about that. And then, really, it seems like then it's time to start getting ready for. Well, we have a single coming out in December, a split with a St. Louis band that we love, Middle Class Fashion, and then the album comes out in January, so it's kind of like everything's moving right along.
Yeah, yeah, and then we have a whole other round of, when the album comes out in January, that really is just the beginning of a process that we've in fact been doing for months and months and months, years, honestly. But, we also have a bunch of regional touring in November in the kind of the Midwest, and then we do Laser Kitty, which is a laser show set to our album, which is we did once before in St. Louis at the planetarium there. It was great, so we're doing it one more time. And that's definitely been one of the most fun things that we've done as a band.
I would say, as this band and also just as an artist, and so far, it's been one of the most exciting things to be a part of.
So you queued up lasers to, interact with the songs?
There's a laserist at the planetarium in St. Louis. He choreographed a show to our new album, and so everybody lays on their backs in the planetarium, and it's like the stars, and this amazing, beautiful laser show happens.
And he's doing all of this. The machinery's all from like 1975, so he's dialing and pulling knobs and doing stuff to make the lasers perform for him. So we just lay down the same as everybody else and just watch it, and it's got a great sound system, and it's just a scenario that you don't have at any other time unless you happen to be at a planetarium for a laser show.
Yeah.
Which used to be, kind of a common thing in the 70s and 80s, but it's been this sort of surprise revival in St. Louis because nobody's ever done that. At least at our planetarium had a show choreographed to a contemporary album by a band in town. So it's really cool. We're looking forward to doing it again.
So when you guys go back, you're gonna do the same thing at the same place? Or
that will be the same laser show and same album, but hopefully a bunch of people that were not there the first time, and maybe people that were the first time. But
it's going to be our listening party for the new album.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And it's really, it's a really great way to do a listening party because nobody talks. The sound system's awesome. And, it's really cool. So we're looking forward to that one for sure.
Yeah, that sounds really, really cool, for sure.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of Laser Cats, the skit from SNL with Andy Samberg.
No, I've heard about this too.
So,
we just keep naming things after pop culture references without even knowing those pop culture references. Like, I guess, like, Sleepy Kitty, people always ask about Big Bang Theory, and I've heard about these Laser Cats too, so I still need to check them out.
Yeah.
That sounds like a really good idea.
Yeah, if you're in the mood for a laugh before your actual laser show, I would highly suggest it.
Awesome.
We'll check it out.
Cool. So now that we've mentioned cats and lasers and, the best of everything, is there anything else you guys want to say?
Well, what do we want to say? We're really looking forward to getting our album out. We're as far out in the world as we can. We'll be chasing behind it with our band.
Yeah. As many places as we can.
Yeah, we'll keep coming back to New York. So if you're in New York, keep your eyes on those things.
Sounds good. All right, thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you.